Hi everyone, welcome to my new video, and in this video I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to script beginners. So this is gonna be a full movie. I'm gonna be making a little shorter like episodes. Oh yeah, sorry if my keyboard's really loud. Like when I'm typing, look. But let's just get started. So first up are the basics of Studio. So to move your camera, you must hold the right click and then you can drag your mouse. And then to select items, you gotta have this thing selected and then you press. So how to find this thing if you're like okay, yeah, it's gonna show up every time, but yeah. Or if you're like this, just press this twice so you can pop. So you gotta left click to do that. And now you can place a part. So this, you press this thing here. It's located in the home tab. So you can press it, drag it around, and here you can move it and scale or just rotate it. So yeah, let's get started with scripting. So first up, what you want to do is going to let's first explain services actually. So services are basically like, you know, stuff that helps the game out. How do I say it? Let's just say, like, without the workspace there is no map, without the server script service there is no server, etc. So that's what it is. So it's basically like the parts of the game. And then next up, we're gonna start adding the scripts. So there are actually 3 types of scripts. So let's see. We got, oh, sorry, a normal script, a local script, and a module script. So first up, we're gonna start with the normal script. A normal script is basically a server script which runs for all players. You can put it in server script service, workspace, or any part that's like anything, any item. So yeah, and then we've got the local script, which can be put in any one of these folders, which basically runs for a singular player. So we're gonna start off with the server script. So there, first thing we're gonna cover is printing, which is if we type print with these, you should get this, which in it you can type anything you want, and when you start the game it will print it. So yeah, well, that's basically it. But before we continue with it, I'm gonna do a, what do I call him? Call it oh yeah, data types. So data types are 3 things: either bool, uh bool, a string, and a number. So number 1, the bool, it's basically true, false, and nil. So true and false, we all know them, like correct and wrong, but then nil is basically nothing. So yeah, remember that. And then we got string, which is anything that is put in these and this type of. So yeah, they're basically like how you type words, like words. This is correct and this is an error. So yeah. And then next up and finally, numbers. Number. So now here's where we go back to printing. So in printing, you can put like a type of bool, print true, it's gonna print true, print false, it's gonna print false, and print nil, it's gonna print nil. So if you put any word, it's just gonna nil, as you can see, because that word is not defined. So it will just print nil. You have to put it in, you have to make it a string for it to work. So yeah. And then also for numbers, you could just print any number or a math equation, like 1 plus 1, 2. 37 times 5, 185, as you can see. So that is for printing. But then let's move on to variables, which is like how you define something. So let's say local message equals to string, and then let's make it like hello, how are you? So as you can see, it's hello, how are you? But then if we type message in here, sorry. So now if we type message, oh right, sorry. You have to put the variable on top of the actual thing. So yeah. And now it's gonna print hello, how are you? So that's how you define things. You can also define more stuff, and if you don't define it at all, it's just gonna print nil. So that's it for like most of the basics of basics. But now we're gonna move on to the next thing, which is the functions. So functions is basically what their name is, a function. So let's see, we start off with local function and then name it. Let's name it print. Sorry. And then here you put the diameters, which I'll explain later. Let's say message. So then you do enter, and this should do it. Then let's just say print message or whatever the function you want in here. But then let's say I want to call the function also. So, functions are made in a script and not a module script, can only be called from that same script. So yeah. So let's say local message equals to hi. And then we can call the function by its name. Oh right, sorry, I have to put this in caps. So we call it by its name. And then let's say the parameter is message, it's gonna print hi. So that's basically it for functions. You can expand way more. It's a block of code. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining good. And yeah. Also, once again, sorry if my keyboard's loud. It does tend to be loud. So now let's talk about the loops. So, or for loops, which is for I, comma v in pairs. But before that, we gotta learn two things: tables and actual loops. So first up, we're gonna start with tables. Tables is basically like a storage within this script, which can be used to a pretty good extent if you like do a module script with a table and etc. etc. So here's how a table works. We're gonna do local, let's say list, okay, ingredients list. So we'll do equals to this. Then let's do ingredient 1 equals to cabbage or tomato. So then we do a comma and then the ingredient 2 equals to carrots, and then the loops. So loops are just like really just Oh right, sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, y'all. But now for loops is uses the table. So let's say for I comma v in pairs. So this is a short. I forgot this one what it was, but this one was value. If anyone can say it in the comments what this one was, it would be really good. Thank you. And then you're gonna put your table in here and then enter. So this basically runs through the tables, and let's say if v equals to carrots, then we're gonna print carrot. So now it's gonna print carrot. So basically runs through it, checks the one that is in here, and then yeah. Also, that brings us to the next, the if statement, and the oh my, and what was it called? Oh yeah, else statement. So the if statement is basically what it is. So if, let's say, local x equals to 5, if x equals to 5, then print x. So now is the else statement, which is, well, let's say x is 3, else do x print, wait, no, x equals to 5. So let's do that. But then if you notice, there's also an else, oh my god, sorry, else if. So what this is, like, basically the if and the else combined. So the else is basically where if this thing is wrong, then it just runs this. The else if this thing is wrong, then it checks for this thing, and then yeah. So that's basically it. Also, y'all, I'm so sorry if I'm explaining wrong or like not, explaining good. If you think I'm not explaining good, you should go watch you should go watch the Def King. This is where I learned from him. So yeah, that's basically the entirety basics of scripting. But so I'm gonna leave y'all. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.